All right, I'm recording. Yeah, we do. All right, so this is Dashboard Week Day 1 presentations. So we're 1/5 of the way through. So let's start with Alex. I'm just going alphabetically.
Right.
We'll do order of the scenario.
I don't remember what they were.
It's okay.
All right. You up, Alex?
Yeah, it's just loading.
Make sure you talk loud enough because the speaker's all the way up there.
Yeah, it's just loading.
It's not as fast as I thought it was.
Yeah, depends if it's going to be me first.
Extension cord for there.
Yeah.
Well, take us through what your scenario was first.
Yeah, sure. So I was question number 5 out of the hat yesterday, which was, I mean, all Andy wrote was like best player by position. So I decided to look at just the most recent year to focus my data set as opposed to like looking back through all 50 years worth of data. So I went through like various different APIs. There were some horrible ones, and this is like, I swear this sport is just a mess with abbreviations. Like, I mean, as you
All
can
sports
see on
are.
there. Yeah, but I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, and then
They're not ridiculous if you know what they mean.
well, they are, because they're contentious. Like,
No,
you
I
read
know.
through the blogs, and there's serious beef
It
on
depends
people
on-
being
well,
like,
for some of the more modern metrics that people have developed.
for the advanced metrics that they like quote. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And then I came across this really interesting blog by this guy who's, what was his name, Dean Farmer or something, who talks about the 4 measures of success for basketball. So I decided to do a slight take on that because that's more around team performance. But I read a few more blogs that were going into like what are the best individual stats that you can analyze for individual performance.
So just to help you focus on
Yeah,
this massive set
because
of
when
metrics,
you've got
which ones
so
are
much
most
data in
important
front
ones,
of
right?
you, it's like obviously, you know, from what you teach us is to like focus on one specific area.
And ignore everything else.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool.
Ignore the kind of hyperbole in the background.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've managed to find. Well, I didn't even use an API in the end. I just found, went to ESPN, copy and pasted this table, cut out a few blank lines, and this was like the most complete data set I could find for last year. So I was pretty happy with it. I knew it was going to be pretty accurate because it's from ESPN as well. And then my thought process was I had my 6 metrics, so I sketched up how I wanted my graph to look, or my dashboard, and then literally just boom, punched it out. It was pretty straightforward for me this week. I wrote some calculations, mostly like window averages, so you can see the split there between above average and below average. And then you just cycle through the different positions.
So the different charts. So that's field goal percentage.
Field goal percentage, yep, you're
Free throw
right.
percentage.
Free throw percentage.
Number of rebounds per game.
You got it. Offensive, defensive.
Offensive and defense. Okay. Blocks.
And then steals.
Okay. So 3 defensive metrics and 3 offensive metrics.
Yeah, and I felt like because we do it by position, it doesn't really matter if it's
Okay.
offensive, defensive. So I got rid of that kind of measure of complexity.
Okay.
And
So then your thing says if you click on a player, you can highlight them.
yeah,
Right.
so
right now you're looking at centers.
if I click here, I get the view across the board of where Kyle O'Quinn is placed in the puzzle.
So he's not the top in anything, but he's high in everything.
Yeah, because the way I did it, so it's the kind of pseudo ranking system. I added the rankings up, and I said basically the least total will come out top.
Yeah.
It's not exactly scientific.
So for those
but it's
6
just
metrics, where do they rank in each of those 6 metrics, and then
sum
the
it
minimum
up,
of that?
and the lowest
right.
number
That's fine.
would be the best
Yeah, it's
in
okay.
my eyes.
Yep. So can you go to can you pick a different position or unpick
Should we
that
do
player?
point guard? Should we do Stephen Curry? He's like the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Stephen?
Stephen.
It is Stephen,
Stole
but he's
wrong,
American.
but
He's American.
We'll forgive
Most
him
people
for
say that as Stephen, but he actually goes by Steph Curry.
He's American.
There's no Larry Bird, given that. So yeah, so you
So this
just
doesn't, you didn't include 3-point percentage. Okay, so the metrics that you used on here are the ones you found in those blog posts.
yeah, they like I took that as verbatim. Like basically, I went through a number of them, and yeah, like I said, I just had to make a decision.
Cool.
So I made a call that I'm going to go with these ones because they felt pretty solid.
Did you, when you were looking at which players to include, did you include all players or just ones that played a certain amount of time? Or
So this so if I hover over my little basketball here, it tells you like the overall player rank is calculated, blah blah. What I said. The original data was collected from ESPN and is based on players' interactions per 100 possessions.
okay,
Which apparently
so
is
it's all
the best way
normalized.
to look across the board because it gets rid of like those kind of like niggling little statistics
Sure.
that kind of
Yeah,
outliers
because you don't want a player in there that's played 10 minutes and made 100% of his
and
shots.
skews
Right.
everything. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So that was that, and then I gave a little bit of because obviously I didn't know what any of those positions were.
Yeah, no, that's
so I
fine.
just gave a little bit of blurb there.
That's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I know yesterday when we were talking about this, a lot of people had no idea kind of what these basketball stats were. And I think Elena in particular was kind of struggling with kind of the language.
Yeah.
And I tried to relate it to her as, basically when you go into a client, you might be working in a certain department for a while, and then they say, you know what, I need you to go work in this other department today. And it's basically like learning a new language in a day. So would you say that's fair, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's, so you have to basically, you're basically, the point of Dashboard Week is to basically learn a new language every day.
Companies love acronyms. It's
Yeah.
just acronyms.
Yeah, yeah.
Cat codes, C13, C10, they all make sense to me, but no one knows what they are.
yeah. So good. Excellent. Good
Cool.
job.
Cheers,
Well done.
man. Thank you.
All right. Elena, you're next.
Let me just share this. Hi guys, I had the third task to do a coach's KPIs for each team. So basically I needed to get all the data that Alex just showed, which was all acronyms, and read that and find a way to understand it and then show how the team fared in terms of KPIs. So my first challenge was finding the data, which was quite a long process because apparently all the sports data is like very protected. So I managed to get 2 separate tables from the site that I've just closed. Yeah. And then the part where I needed to prepare the data was, I think, the longest task for me because I needed to basically rename all the different tasks, all the different KPIs in Alteryx, then decide which ones I was going to use and which ones I was going to select out.
How'd you pick, how'd you settle on, so I see you list 5 KPIs, how'd you settle on those 5?
I just Googled what should I use for KPIs in basketball.
Okay.
Because there were like loads of different things that are measured.
Okay.
But apparently.
So you found an article that kind of said these
Yeah.
are, okay.
They ranked them by importance, so I went
Okay.
from 15 upwards.
Sure.
Yeah, after that was done, it was time to analyze things. I put it into Tableau and basically focused only on the KPIs that I was going to use, which were turnovers, steals, assists, rebound, and free throws. Okay.
You want to show us your,
Yeah.
show us your biz then?
Where is it? Just,
Hopefully it's in Tableau.
So here is what I came up with. So at the top, I have a brief overview of teams. So we have all the teams represented as a circle, and this is a box plot, which basically, a standard deviation, which shows what teams are outside of the deviations.
So what is it, what measure is that though? Is that the win-loss record?
Yeah, the win-loss record.
Okay.
I was looking for a way to show this without the KPIs because it will get very crazy.
So I would probably clarify that that's what that's showing.
Yeah.
And you spelled out side wrong there too.
Which one?
Altos.
Okay. It has to happen in every business.
That's okay.
No way around it.
Can you
So,
hover over the team on the far right? It's probably the Warriors.
Golden State Warriors. And then you have San Diego Spurs.
San Antonio.
I'm saying that right?
No, it's San Antonio,
Okay.
not San Diego.
So let's find, which one was it?
Golden State.
There it is. So if you pick a team at the part below, you will get an overview of their wins and the losses over the months within the season 2016-17, and then you will get the KPIs below. So
Is the season average the average for all teams?
the average
league
is for
average?
the teams. Yeah.
Okay. So that's showing where they're above or below the league
Yeah.
average. Okay.
And if that's positive, it will be blue, and if it's negative, it will be red. So it's not like only below or above
Right.
the
So
average.
since turnovers is a negative stat, if you're beyond the bar, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like you've got some alignment issues here as well. These aren't lining up.
You think they're all left aligned?
No, with
The
the
spacing's
bars.
weird.
Oh, right. I see it, yeah.
Did you do that as a separate chart or something?
Yep.
Why?
No?
Okay. I would probably just have it as your
Yeah.
rows. Yeah, measure names. Yeah,
Fix them up.
that's okay.
I think that happened because I added the assists at the very end. Or maybe the text here
I
below.
would still just recommend doing one instead of two. In general, it's less to maintain. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, that's it. A very, very
Cool.
long
Yeah, very
task.
simple, but yeah.
A very long task was actually getting all the pictures for the teams. And I went with assigning shapes to every team, which was like a very painful process to see all the little logos on there.
Yeah. So what team is to the very far left?
To the very far left.
That's the top and your.
Brooklyn Nets.
Can you pick them from the list then? So I would imagine everything in there should be red. No, rebounds. So they do better than average on rebounds and free throws.
They were losing a lot.
Yeah, they basically. Yeah. Okay.
And I've actually removed the option to see all the teams because it would be just two lines on top of each other.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you want to look at it one team at a time. Yeah. Cool. Looks good.
That's it.
Yeah. Well done. Good job.
Thanks.
Jamie. Oh my God, why do I have 20 minutes?
Okay, I was given franchise history, and I thought I got really lucky. Within 10 minutes of Google search, I found a GitHub which had this complete history of the NBA, which is created by 538 in a CSV file. And what this shows is the ELO rating at every single game each of the 53 franchises have played. And it also has a score and the opponent. But the problem is it only went to 2015 on the GitHub. And I thought, obviously, the most recent date is what people would like most in a viz. So then at first I thought I'll just scrape from 2015. But then I realised that I'd probably scrape it in a different format to CSV. So that left me into a position where I had to batch macro all 53 teams and scrape the information because, for example, this is the complete history page. So I went onto this page and using what Ian in the back taught me, I found the network route for all the information. So here, this is for the Warriors. This shows from 1947 onwards, every single game, the result, the team they played, the score. So I went to Alteryx, and here's my workflow. So this beginning bit, this is the control parameter for the batch. This is where you input the link that I just showed with the JSON that needs passing. Then I'll pass
run it through each team.
Then I'll run it through each team, and then here, this is just the basic pass into and get all that information that I just showed you. So this got me the score, got me the opponent, got me the ELO rating after the game and the date. Here, I did use the CSV file I did find in GitHub because for the opponent, they only had a code, so it only had 3 letters. And all them also featured in this CSV, but it also had the franchise name.
Right.
So then I linked it
Yeah.
and added the franchise name. So yeah, so this was just creating the macro. Then this is actually running the batch. So here you can see all 53 links that had to go through to create the CSV. Eventually look like this, which is like 130,000 rows.
Did you have to paste all those links in there?
Yeah, so that's a bit of hassle. Yeah, paste them all in, and then so this is all 50. Now I've got the CSV file of all 53 franchises, including ones that discontinued, all the games ever played, and then from that, I created a dashboard that here at the top you select the team, and here's 3 different types of comparisons. And at the moment, it's showing every single team filled on the top of each other. So this is every season and the team. So here, for example, Bulls 1991. Champions gives you their win-loss records, gives you the percentage of points they scored over their opponents. But here it's set on the Knicks. So these numbers relate to the Knicks. And if I hover over here, it just shows the Knicks information above it. So you can sort of gauge how well they've done in comparison to every other season. Then this one here is similar to 538's.
Is there a reason you didn't choose to just kind of highlight that team instead of having the hover? You could just put you could say team equals whatever.
I tried it to parameter
on color as well and have it.
Yeah, the parameters just weren't working as well. I did try the parameter where I listed all the parameters. So here's the running ELO.
Oh, you do have instructions on there that select the team, select the view, and then hover. Yeah.
Yeah, so here, hover.
Yeah.
So now you can see it. The problem here is obviously if the hover doesn't stick, you can't click on it, but here you can see if someone was a champion this year,
Right.
the ELO. So the red marks when they're champion, and then if
you could make that click to highlight instead of.
Yeah, I'll probably if I change it to click.
Yeah.
I only changed this one.
You still see the context of all the other teams.
You can see the context of the other teams, but obviously when I change it to click, you can go over, you can see exactly who their opponents was, the game date, the score, the result of the game, and the ELO rating at the end of the game.
Can you pick the Celtics?
If I could, I'll change this to click now. Give me a second. Dashboard.
You'll have to remove it. Right there, you select it.
So let's change it to the Celtics. So here, because it's red, this means they're above average on everything. So 17 titles, ELO's above that, and their win rate shows above 50%. And now it's clicked. As you can see, I can see the championship years, what their ELO was.
Yeah.
I can see an individual point. As you see, it looks like
they were a long time ago. They were just dominant.
Yeah, at first I was like, why has that rating just dropped before championship? But obviously this is because they're in playoffs, so they're obviously losing a high percentage of games when they're in playoffs. Or even towards the end of the season, if you know you're in the playoffs, you're going to take it easy.
Playoff games.
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
And even if it doesn't, if you're already in the playoffs, your last few regular season games, you're going to rest your key players, aren't you? And you're just going to throw them.
Yeah. What about the Bulls?
Right. So here's the Bulls. Same thing, and then
you can see when Jordan plays.
So here, I think this is the second highest ELO rating ever, so 1,853.
Yeah, and I think the Warriors have the highest now.
Yeah, the Warriors have literally just taken it.
So there should be going up.
So here, so as you see now, they've just got to literally just beating it on the last game of last season.
What's ELO?
So it's a chess rating they use. So when two teams, like you start with a base rating of 1,300, is it 1,300 or 1,500? And when the two teams face each other, they get points taken off each other. So if you win, you go up to like 15-15, and if you lose, you go to 14-15. It keeps moving as it goes along.
There's a definition on the if you flip back over to the 538 website that you were on, they have a really brief description at the top, right there.
Is it good to just have that as
I'll put a
like
little information button at the top and put it in.
And then there's how it works and all that. Yeah. So 538 does a pretty good job about documenting this stuff.
And then also I've got a running win percentage.
I actually think that 538 came up with that metric as well, if I remember right. And they can do it for any sport.
It was originally used in chess.
Yeah.
In chess?
Chess, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chess.
So they took it and applied it to sports then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Microsoft do a really complex, like a much more complicated version of it called True Skill, which is an even more advanced version of it. And they use that to choose people to compete against each other online games. Like that. But yeah, here, this is a running win percentage, which you can also see. It's not really as good on the screen, so you can see the less highlighted ones in the background.
Yeah.
But it has similar data to the
That's cool.
Running to the ELO one, but just with win percentage instead at the end of each period.
That's good. Yeah, nice. Well done. Good job.
Well done.
Well, that was really cool like that.
Does it really?
I think it'd be interesting to see the forecasting as well. It's quite easy to add forecasting to that. So let's see actually what the next 6 months will look like based on all that data. But also, I think
I'll add a big information button at the top right.
The
I think
little,
that's sit in alphabetical order.
titles there need to be a bit bigger.
Oh, no,
I can't
these
read
next.
these.
Oh, yeah.
Almost.
Almost.
Probably is the resolution.
Especially when the numbers-
Yeah, the
Yeah.
resolution's terrible. It's really slow.
So my one was season schedule with game by game summary. So I wanted to try and use an API, but the ones we found were quite complicated to use. And as I was looking retrospectively at the 2016 to 2017 season, I thought I'll just scrape the data. So yeah, I found these tables of data of by month of that season. And then remembering back to the scraping session we had, I used the Google Sheets import here to get a table of the information for each month here, yep. And yeah, loaded that into Alteryx. Another thing I did notice while I was looking as well is, so I wanted to try and use this data, sort of drilling in a bit further, but it was quite hard to, like the box score data, just to provide a bit more richness to it. But the individual numbers were quite random, and I didn't find a way to sort of generate that. However, back out here, you can just see that with the last bit here, it's just the date. So I generated the URL for each date in Alteryx. So if I go over to Alteryx, yeah, so pulling in all the sheets, I was trying to do dynamic input, but I just couldn't get it to work, and it was taking way more time, so I just did it sheet by sheet. Yeah. So I pulled them in and union them. And then this central part was, as I commented in the center here, just creating an overtime column, because at the start of it was just OT or null. So I just changed it to yes or no, and then just restructuring the date format, adding in that URL, all of that sort of stuff. And then because I wanted to make a calendar, but there weren't games every day, I pulled in sort of like dummy dates just to fill out the rest of the calendar.
So you had the numbers for every day.
Yeah, exactly. And then joined and unioned that in as well.
So you basically end up with days that have no games, basically.
Yeah, but just so that it just maintained the right shape I wanted to on the calendar. Yeah, so, and then, yeah, here's my final result. I'll just pull it up. Cool, yeah, so this is, the calendar actually took a little longer than I thought it would, but yeah, it's quite simple. I added in an icon for more information, catches up, on just how to use it. So first you would cycle to select a month, select a specific day second, and then games run.
What does the color mean on the calendar? Just number of games in that day?
Yeah, that's just the number of games per day. And then select a time, and at the bottom it will present to you the score of the match for that day. Some of them had up to 10 matches going on at one time.
Games.
Yes, games, matches. See if I can find one that does. Yeah.
Can you pick more than one start time?
No, you can't.
Okay.
And then, just to add that additional information, if you click on any point, it will provide a link to take you to that website for more information on that day. And then you can look into further at what happened that day. And
cool.
There you go.
Nice, well done.
That's pretty much it.
Good job. Go reverse alphabetical order tomorrow.
Perfect. Yeah, I feel like I always go last. The worst. Nobody's listening anymore at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty early on.
Last one with almost every presentation.
Yeah, almost every single one. Yeah.
So this week I had the challenge of doing a team-to-team comparison, and I isolated that just for the most recent season. I think I'm the only one who decided to actually end up using an API for this. And this is where I sourced mine from, and it was reasonably okay to use. It did mean that I think I was the last one to start dashboarding, and I went with all floating, so was a bit of a nightmare to try and deal with that. But anyways, I used this. It was relatively straightforward. There were still some that were empty, so I would have loved to have this data, but then this was just empty when it returned it. But anywho, I did a few different calls with it. So I'll quickly just show my workflows I ended up using. So this is like the main one. I did 3 different calls to get different data. Some of it was just the different ways that different conventions of the team names, because I had to do a bit of joining at the end, and details as in what the website was and what their colors were, because I ended up using that to make a color palette. And then also the players, I wanted to get all the player details and then match that with their teams, so that I had the details of the players of the team in that season. So I knew for 2016.
Right, because they changed teams and stuff.
Yeah. So I managed to get all of that. I think I have a few. So let's see, that's that one. This is just cleaning, and this was, I had to do a macro to get all of the players, I believe this is. So yeah, this was just going through and changing actually the teams to get the rosters. Okay. So that's most of my Alteryx work. It was just a few different API calls. It wasn't too messy, the data when it came out, so it was relatively fine. Then when I got it into Tableau, I should probably show you first, is I've already done something kind of similar to this in a Pokemon viz that I did ages ago. And I had to basically have, like, one was a parameter, one was a filter, and I could choose a Pokemon. And I was like, well, why don't I just do that for the teams for NBA? I can have you choose your team and you choose your opponent team for comparison. So I ended up doing that. So it's pretty similar in format to start with. I have scorecards that are kind of the same, so you can see these kind of key indicators. Comparison, you can see the points that they scored against each other during that season. So Hornets are winning out against the Nuggets.
Each other's 2 words.
Huh?
Each other's 2 words.
Oh my gosh. We have some pretty HD people here.
Okay, so this probably means they played each other 2 or 3 times, given the 216 to 234. So they probably played each other twice.
Yeah, my knowledge of basketball
No, it's fine.
more is not the greatest. So you can, have this overview of the different key indicators. You can see that Hornets are better at free throws, but they're worse at offensive rebounds, so on and so forth. They make less mistakes. I'm biased against Chicago Bulls because I was born there and they have a nicer color. So as I said, the colors are all dynamic, so it will update. That's a little bit of a delay. And then you scroll down from the scorecards and you get their ELO during the season, so you can see if they've gone up or down and how much they fluctuate. So the Hornets
Average height, average weight. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so because I had all of the details of the players for that season, I could actually say how tall and how much they weighed and how much experience
that's a
they
good
had.
idea.
So actually, the Hornets are much more experienced than the Chicago Bulls team at the moment. In fact, I think the Chicago Bulls team has like one of the most inexperienced teams.
But weren't they better? Do you think the Bulls have a better record?
Yeah, the Bulls actually has a higher ELO at the end of it, but yeah, they have a less experienced team.
Yeah,
Just goes to show you. So then you
one
can,
more game.
see the nationalities and positions and the height of all the players here. And I was going to actually add in, because I still have some space now, maybe more details of the experience of each of the individual players, because maybe it's the case that you just need one experienced player and the rest can be inexperienced or something like that. It would be nice to add on. There's a lot that I still wanted to do with this dashboard and add on to it. It's just, you have to move on for the next day of dashboard week and not hang on to it, but maybe I'll do a revisit.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Is there any way you can get, so you obviously you've got the little horizontal bar chart. Is there any way you can show which one's higher by
so that was another thing I would add on, is that I would make them gray in just their own color if they won that. And that's something I want to add on as well. Yeah.
Maybe have it fade out slightly if it's, like a lighter shade of red, whatever the team color is, have it fade out, but then if they're the lower one or something like that.
I definitely wanted to
have
add
the
that
scales the same on both sides.
Yeah, they're the same. Because that's why I haven't included turnovers in the bar charts, is because I can fix them between 0 and 1 for the percentages. So I didn't.
I see.
Yeah. So that's how I made sure that they're the same.
Oh, so it always just goes from 0 to 1. That way you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. That looks really good. Good job.
Oh, thanks.
Very nice. Well done. This is the one I've been waiting for. I don't believe his analysis.
Controversial.
So I had the task of comparing Larry Bird with Stephen Curry. So didn't do it. Yeah. Stephen, no. Not gonna lie, I didn't even know Larry Bird existed before I started this project yesterday. So he's a basketball legend. Apparently, played for the Celtics. And so just like everybody else, I started off trying to pull data from the API from the website that Andy gave us, but of course that was impossible. Thanks, Andy. So instead, I just found this website that had just really extensive stats for each player.
Oh, okay.
So per game stats and per season stats. And so then I did the same trick as Lee.
Yes, that's exactly what you needed then for the.
Exactly, yeah. So I thought, why reinvent the wheel when you can just pull the table already built? So the same thing, I used the import HTML function in Google Sheets. And so just built all of these tables. And then I just added the names
of the. Like icons and stuff in the
exactly.
You need to get rid of.
Exactly. Okay. So I just added this one thing, which is really quick, just of the player name and what type of game it was to make it simpler in Alteryx afterwards. So then the Alteryx was extremely simple. Just very, very simple. Just bringing all the. But
it just looks like a beast.
All of these things are exactly the same thing. I just copy pasted them 4 times, so it's really not so I pulled in different sheets from that Google sheet I built, just cleaned it up a bit, so that in the end, if I just run it.
Did you get rid of those little symbols on the years and stuff too?
Yeah. So it was really So in the end, I had just the name of the player, the type of game, because I have regular season and playoff in there.
Mm-hmm.
This I cleaned the season as well, how it looked, and I just have all the stats pretty much.
How does the season look in the original? If you go back to your.
Yeah, so it has. So if I go to the.
So is there a reason you didn't include so you see where it says 2009-10?
Yeah.
And that's got the weird symbol. Is there a reason you didn't include the -10?
Because all of them pretty much it's for 1 year, so I don't think it really matters.
The season crosses years.
Yeah,
so
but
usually in the NBA when they refer to a season, they refer to it as the 2009-10 season, something like that.
Right. But because if there had been multiple seasons per year, I would have kept it. But I just know that there's only one that starts in 2001 and one that starts in 2010.
It's kind of like the season start.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if I'm going to compare them, I don't really care as much about keeping both years in. Yeah, so just got rid of everything in there and ended up with little sheets that look like this. So just really clean. And then I use the output tool to actually output it as multiple sheets afterwards as well to make it easier to analyze in Tableau. So I didn't know how simple it is, but just go to this little window. If you set it up like this, it'll actually make specific sheets. It'll join them based on whatever is inside the field you select. So that was a cool trick I learned yesterday. I don't watch any type of sport. I've never found that really interesting. I've never looked at player stats for anything, so I really had no idea of.
But this could be a scorecard of one product versus another.
Yeah, for sure. But going in, I really didn't. I just wanted to make it a bit different because all the ones I saw online were always very intense, so very stat heavy, and just didn't feel fun to me. At least it was just too serious. And so instead, I wanted to make one that felt more like a game in a way. So here's
what do these bars mean?
Yeah, so that's the one big sort of drop thing.
Is each one a different stat?
No, so all of them actually. So the top part, it's going downward, so time-wise. And so the top of the bar shows their performance in their first season, and then it goes all the way down. So I was trying to add an arrow in yesterday to sort of show, because if you added the axis, it really looked super ugly.
So the years go down left. The years go down. Basically.
Exactly.
So their first year is at the top.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's why Larry has more bars than Steph Curry, because his career was longer than what Steph Curry's is right now.
Right, but you can see Curry's. So what's interesting is the performance per game. Curry's getting better.
Exactly.
But Bird was getting worse.
Yeah. So a lot of So just so here this just shows their average what for the entire season. So it's just this big ass number, and then you've just got
what does that number mean?
So here that would be their score for this particular statistics, which is offense.
But what does 84.68 mean?
I don't know enough about basketball to be able to tell you what that means.
Did you add things together, or what
No, it's just the average value for that statistic.
Right. What does offense mean for statistics?
Yeah. So I have a little guide up there on the right, which tells you what all different statistics mean. Unfortunately, on the website I showed you before, they didn't actually have a glossary. So I picked the ones that I could find, but offense, unfortunately.
So is it adding together all of the offensive metrics?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So all you do is you pick a statistics.
Right. So
a statistic.
Pick
so this one's
3-point percentage.
But if you show 3-point, I think that means 3 points attempts. And so here you can see how much Steph Curry dominates Larry Bird and how the play styles really evolved over the years. As in
Can you change it to percentage, 3-point percentage?
Yeah. Exactly. Actually, still Larry Bird was pretty good. Steph Curry's better, but so you can see.
But Curry attempts a lot more than Bird does.
Exactly. So the fact he's a point guard, I think that also comes into play, as in he's like kind of the quarterback, just leading the
He's
team.
not really a point guard. I mean, technically that's the position they assign him to, but he doesn't really play that.
Right.
Well, the NBA is very different now than it was then. So players, you might have a forward that actually plays as like a point guard. I think Scottie Pippen was probably the first player to do that. So it's quite different now. Back when Bird played, there were very set kind of roles for players.
Right. And if you look at statistics like block, you can see how much Larry Bird dominates.
He's a much better defender. Yeah.
But also, I didn't want it to make it like there is no overall score in the end. So that's why it's kind of has this game aspect, as in you have to go in and like try and figure out, which one would you think is better. Yeah. And so just reading up on both, at first I thought that Steph Curry would be so much better than Larry Bird at everything, especially when I compared just their faces, to be honest. But then I was really impressed by just
really ugly.
where he just doesn't look like your average basketball player, I guess.
He's
but actually, in most stats, he's so much better than.
Was hideous.
It looks like Ian Dowie.
But if you just look at like defense,
Dowie,
he just completely dominates Steph Curry. So.
Yeah.
So just a clean feel. I thought something approachable for someone who's not that interested in sports in general. Yeah. And
Is there a reason you chose to have the time going down instead of across?
So originally I had it as different. This is just aesthetics, to be honest. I had it going down as first I had it as line charts that looked really ugly, and
is
then
it just
when
so that so that it's the same year it should go down? Is that kind of the reason?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
left
exactly.
to right,
Yeah.
it's the same. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I also thought it was a bit confusing that everything to the left is Larry Bird, and then you get to the bottom and it's a mix. So maybe I should have.
Yeah.
But then the bars it just didn't look
And
as
then you
clean.
can compare
So,
it.
but still, I thought this looked pretty cool.
Yeah. Nice. Well done. Good job. All right. So
I've got one if you want to see it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Did you join in?
Well, I did yesterday afternoon. I was inspired.
Did you join in the GoToMeeting?
Where's the link?
I can just bring it up. Is it on your Tableau Public profile?
Yeah.
Oh, let me take control back then. How do I make myself presenter? Make presenter. Show my screen. All right. Which one?
Maybe it's not. Should be.
What's it called?
Have you made it visible?
Yeah. Is it hidden? You only have 8 businesses on your Tableau Public profile? How's that possible?
Now you regret trying to show something today.
How many have you got?
You've got more followers than business.
How many I keep toggling the visibility.
It's like roughly between 1 and 8.
So hidden, yeah.
You might have to save again after that. Or you can probably just message me the link.
100%.
Oh, amazing.
Can't imagine what you
I'm trying to chuck Phil's.
Yeah, check Phil's one. Yeah. Phil's tablet is pretty cool. This is the page that I was going for as well. Oh, more Stephen Curry. So yeah, the map bottom left on Basketball Reference, they have a page that's just all about the shooting. So I thought I want that shot chart, see if I can scrape that one off the website. So if you right click to that, it had all the information for the points in that. On the website, even not on my dashboard, but yeah. So yeah, basically it's quite easy to scrape every point from those charts. It was also quite easy to get every player's page. So yeah, so I went for just focusing on field goals, and then it had indications on there whether it was
had a field whether it was 2 point, 3 points. So I split it up on that as well. And then I split on the chart. You can see how there's different. You can kind of see for this one. It's easy to see on other ones, but there's different locations that have different shading. So like near the basket, and that shading depends on whether they're compared to the average, the league average. Are they better or worse? So yeah, obviously orange is worse and blue is better. The darker the better.
Here in the shop map?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other reference lines are again compared to league average. So on the bar chart, the reference lines show compared to league average of 2 point or 3 point. And then yeah, over time, have they improved or?
And what does the lighter shade of blue mean?
So that means they're closer to average. They're better, but closer to average.
Okay. Did you do like stepped colors or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I was going to put legend in there, but I just didn't have time. And then yeah, so on the right hand side is a filter, so you can click a team and then that loads the players. I did it with actions because that would update the pictures in the top left hand corner. If I did it with filters, then I'd have to click again to do an action to update the image, because the image is a URL.
So this shows he's a terrible shooter near the basket.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, that's really surprising. Let's look at Kevin Durant. Is this just one season?
Yeah, this is just last season.
Yeah, that's not surprising. He's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, you can look at coach points as well. So you can say to him, "Don't shoot on the right hand side because you're not that good, but shoot on the left hand side."
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that interesting? There's got this stripe around the outside where he basically stinks.
I like.
That's really interesting.
I like to see how some, like, Kevin Durant, for example, his 3 point after the playoffs, his 3 point seems to get quite a lot better. His 2 points.
Oh, really?
Seems like he ramps up when he gets important.
Into the playoffs. Oh, here at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
So.
I see. Yeah. So you got a reference line for the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
This is where he was injured.
Yeah.
So, and that's when the team actually got better. Even though he's a great player, the team got better when he was injured. Who else? So let's look at a different team. Let's look at Cleveland. See how crappy LeBron is, despite what everybody thinks. Where is he? He's hidden. Where'd it go? Now it's hidden. What the hell?
Click off. That annoying tag is just sitting there.
Oh, there we go. LeBron. No, he's better than League. Yeah, so he misses everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, had a big spike in the middle of the season with his 3 points, and then.
So he's above that. This is the league average for 2 pointers, I assume.
Yeah.
And this is the league average for 3 pointers. Yeah. Yeah, well, he should. He's about 6'8". If he misses, he should be shot. Kyrie's better than he is. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like how you can pick each player as well. Oh, he stinks.
There was some that were really bad, like everywhere is dark red. Can't remember.
Yeah, but it's against the league average, so
yeah.
In theory, half should be above.
The next step is doing it against comparing to your opposition. So like you expect the big guys to do worse at shooting, wouldn't you?
Right.
And the point guards are
well, the big guys should be better at shooting near the basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's look at Harding.
He's been bad at Harding.
Yeah, he should be good. Look at that beard. Awesome. Wow, he's one of the best players in the league, but this is terrible. Interesting.
Russell Westbrook is really bad as well.
Which team is he on?
OKC.
Oh, he was the MVP, wasn't
he? Why are there such distinct boundaries on where?
That's my zones that I made. So I did like the corners are 2, and then I split three like left, right, center.
You mean in these sections?
To work out the differences to average.
Yeah.
So the average is a kind of
so there's, how many zones are in there?
Probably working with
so there's basket, paint, 2 corners, 5 inside the 2 point, and 3 outside. So yeah, about 9 essentially.
So like shooting zones, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. He's MVP and he's worse than the league average. But he averaged a triple-double for the whole season. So
just takes a lot of shots.
Yeah. Cool. Really nice. Well done. Good job. Anybody else? Anybody else? What did you do all day yesterday?
Yeah.
All right. So we're on to Dashboard Week Day 2, which is beer and
beer.
wine. So we'll be back with another presentation tomorrow. Bye.
Pretty sure